All right, ladies and lads, welcome to the second episode of Heatspeak. We had a very, very fun episode a couple of weeks ago, and now we have some very special guests here joining us for the second episode. We've got CBM, we have Jeondding, PhiDX, and Rangchu. How you guys doing, man? Thanks for joining me.
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Yes. Okay, so we are here once again to talk about Tekken 8. And guys that are watching at home, if you know there's anyone that's a little bit quiet, just let me know so I can put them up a little bit. But it's good to have you, man. And this time, you know, it's a bit earlier because of course we have our friends from Korea. So thank you, PhiDX, because I know it's quite early for you in the United States.
Yeah, it's 5 a.m. there, right?
Yeah, but I've been on weird hours this whole time, so it's all good.
That's the content creator life, man. But yeah, it's good. So basically, just a little rundown on what we're going to be talking about today. Just general topics. So the first topic that we're going to be talking about, as you can see on the stream, is the Tekken 8 system. Now, we kind of spoke about this last episode as well with the guests, but I want to get an idea of kind of what people in Japan and in Korea are thinking of Tekken 8, because I don't actually know what the communities think there. I know in Europe people have an idea of how the game is. In America, PhiDX, you can kind of give me more of an idea about that. But Rangchu, since you're in Japan, CBM, Jeondding, you guys have been playing in a lot of tournaments in Korea. It'll be good to know about that. Then there was a patch recently as well, so talk about the patch a little bit. And then finishing it off, we're just talking about the future of Tekken 8 in you guys' opinion. But before any of that, actually a good way to get introduced into this is to show that actually yesterday, the Tekken World Tour 2024 has officially begun. You know, yesterday we had some dojo tournaments, and our first master event is going to be Evo Japan. That's happening on the 27th of this month. And we have two Tekken World Tour grand finalists and a Tekken World Tour champion here, man. So it's good to have you guys here right now. CBM, I'll start with you actually. You actually won a tournament recently as well in Tekken 8. But I want an idea of what is the Korean community? What are you thinking about Tekken 8 now that you've played it and you've played in tournament for a while now? What do you think of Tekken 8 system?
For me, I think Tekken 8 system is quite great because Tekken 7, lots of players they were really passive, but now the game makes players to be more aggressive. The only thing lots of people talk about Tekken 8 is balance, I think.
Okay.
Because the game system is pretty good, but it's not a well-balanced game. That even I saw my friends they play on blue ranks. They had lots of matches with Dragunov. so I also saw that on Steam. Recent comments they had lots of negative thoughts because I saw some players they want to play their own characters, but they only made Dragunov. So some players they are just waiting for upcoming patch.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the balance is quite a bit broken. People think. So the game is okay, but if they make the balance better, maybe it's gonna be okay.
I see. Okay. So when it comes to things like heat engages, heat burst, and you know the general sidestepping in the game, and the wall blast and floor blast, all of these things. What do you think of those? Do you think that those things are like good additions? They're fun. Like, what's your opinion on those things?
Yeah, those stuff are good, but only except hit burst that sometimes even I was winning when opponents use hit burst. It's just everything just disappeared because hit burst it's power crush and it tracks sidestep and even it's plus on block and hit.
Yeah.
I just want hit burst. It doesn't track the sidestep or it's not a power crush like CNT.
I see.
Other stuffs are okay, but only thing that the stage Otis Farm.
Otis Farm, yeah.
That stage has lots of wall blast.
Yeah.
People don't like it that even like we had a kind of release tournament a few months ago in Korea,
Yeah.
and we had a choice. We could choose the stage when we lose,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody picked the stage with lots of gimmicks.
Okay.
Maybe that's the reason why Bandai Namco they put the rule that people all the players they should pick random
Yeah.
stages.
Yeah. Random selects the rule now in Tekken World Tour. Yes. All right, Jeondding. Do you agree with CBM? Would you like the new system? You know, I remember watching you in Tekken Tag 2 with your double Eddy. In Master Cup, you know, very strong, and then Tekken 7, of course, you're very successful in Tekken 7. Do you like this new aggressive Tekken?
Uh, I think I like it Tekken 8 aggressive this style because before it's Tekken 7,
Mm,
my style almost is aggressive
mm.
and um, mm,
You can just talk in Korean and I can
Yeah,
translate.
you can
형,
translate.
한국말로 하고 제가
That's what
해석해
CBM's here
드릴게요.
for.
Yes.
예.
yeah, 세븐이 더
There is
좋냐고 한 거지.
interpreter. Yeah.
그러니까
야, 세븐이 더
사건의
좋냐고 거냐?
시스템에 대해서 전반적으로 어떻게 생각하는지,
테kken 8?
예, 전반적으로 어떻게 뭐 마음에
그러니까
드는지.
전반적으로는 다 마음에 드는데 이제 좀 파워 크래시나 좀 좋은 스펙을 가지고 있는 기술들 빼고는 전반적으로 테kken 8의 이제 뭐 히트 스매시나 히트 키는 거나 그런 건 다 마음에 들어.
In general, he said that he likes the general Tekken 8 system, like hit smash, hit burst. But just few things he doesn't like is some moves has really good like how to say property, like power crash really fast, hit in the engage with power crash, those stuff
Mm.
he doesn't like. But except those stuff, he likes Tekken 8 in general.
Okay, wow, interesting. PhiDX. Now, let's talk because I feel like me and you have been in a very similar position right now where that our communities in Europe and in America are very divided at the moment. I feel like there's a section of the community that really do not like the system changes to the game. Although I would say that the majority of it kind of echoes what CBM and Jeondding were saying, that they're kind of positive. But there was a tweet recently which you interacted with, I think, where it was like, no one's enjoying Tekken 8. Everyone hates it. I think you said like, nah, that's not true. Like, people are enjoying it. What's your opinion, and what is the general sentiment that you have seen in America, like regarding Tekken 8's system? Like, not the balance, but specifically like the system changes in the game.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think Immortal Soul said nobody likes Tekken 8, and I just said cap. I don't know, but the way I see it, I think is yeah, I think my perspective is a little warped. It's a little probably not the same as a general like longtime Tekken fan, because for me, Noctis and the Tekken 7 playstyle was the perfect way I wanted to ever play a Tekken game.
Mm.
My favorite thing to do ever since Tekken Tag 2 was Korean backdash. I bought an arcade stick and I just Korean backdash at home. That's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
I would watch Korean players backdash whiff punish. That's all I ever wanted to do. And then they released a character with a backdash full screen whiff punish. So I was like, great. So I got to compete with my dream character in the game that, in my opinion, because of counter hit and low parry, made it easier to only do backdashing and whiff punish with those things, right? So for me, as soon as Tekken 7 ended, I was ready to let go of it. I was like, that it's never going to be the exact thing I wanted to.
Yeah.
So once Tekken 8 came out, I went in with that kind of blank slate perspective. And I think that's what let me enjoy it more than people next to me who were really, really good at Tekken 7 or really, really used to skills they developed or their character change, all these tiny things that really added up. So in my case specifically, I went in kind of expecting it to be completely different. And to be honest, I feel pretty rewarded still for the work I put in the previous Tekken. I think that obviously there was so much adjustment, especially learning how to play with my advantage, right? And
Yeah.
actually attack more
Mm,
instead
mm,
of
mm.
just backdash. So that was a big change, of course. But yeah, the trade-offs in terms of how appealing it was for general audiences, uh how fast the game feels, how beautiful the game looks.
Mm.
And I do like the idea of when I fight somebody really strong and I can feel the difference. And I think that in Tekken 8, when I fight somebody with old Tekken experience from Tag 2, 6, 5, I can feel that difference more than I felt in Tekken 7.
Oh, really?
So for me, it's really cool. I feel that I feel the like fighting game skill difference where they're attacking me better. My attacking is really poor. You know, I don't have a sword anymore, so it's harder. It's a lot harder. And I think as someone who's been focused on content more than straight competition, obviously I still care about competition a lot.
Yeah.
But I think with that focus too, all of those combined, I feel a lot better about. I'm just having fun. I'm just having so much fun.
Yeah.
And I think you asked about the the other side, and I think that not only is it people playing for like livelihoods, serious competition, it's also that I think there's an attachment to how strong the defensive options were in Tekken 7
Mhm.
and having to play more commitment and be willing to attack and die, be willing to go low and die is a new scary feeling in Tekken 8 for the people who started in Tekken 7. I think if you played probably older Tekken, it's not that scary. Like you watch I was watching Tag 2 and I saw Knee do like lightning screw with Lars, right? Like all these risky moves because the game was a lot faster. You had to make decisions. And I think Tekken 8 feels like a return to that. And
Mhm.
that obviously is, I think, what's dividing people. The return to committal offense, which will both kill you if you're wrong and kill your opponent if you're right. And that's a lot scarier. I think people who play like risk try to be less risky.
Right. Okay. That actually brings me on to another question. Before I get to Rangchu, I want to ask Jeondding. Eddy is now, and we're both Eddy players, we're Eddy mains. What do you think, Jeondding, of new Tekken 8 Eddy? I think Eddy now is too much 50-50. I think he's fun, but his lows from the stance not are like quite risky. There's only like one good low, I think. He's definitely a lot different. But Jeondding, what do you think of Eddy now in Tekken 8?
Oh, please, 세배망. Congratulations.
Okay.
우선 세븐이랑 에이지랑 기존에 했던 에디랑은 좀 많이 플레이 스타일이 달라졌고, 우선
네.
제일 많이 사용하는 어퍼라던가 양잡? 그리고 그 에디가 횡보가 생기면서 사이드 스텝, 그러니까 오른발이나 양발 같은 게 그전에는 프레임이 빨리 나갔었는데 지금은 한 9프레임 정도 이제 늦게 나가가지고 예전처럼 사용할 수 없고, 그라 자세, 이거 먼저 말해줘.
Alright. Comparing to Tekken 7, Eddy, he has a totally different playstyle because his down forward 2 or 1+2 throw, or like sidestep, right kick, or 3+4.
Yeah.
It's a bit changed that down forward 2 nerfed and throw is deleted.
Yeah.
Of course, and he has now a sidestep and sidewalk that some stuff like sidestep right or sidestep 3+4 is a bit slower than before.
Yeah.
So it's a totally different character, and he will explain more. Yeah. 형 보고. Let's go.
그리고 이제 그 진가 스텝에서 결국은 리스크를 주고 게임을 해야 돼서 그전에 비해서 좀 안전한 뭐 그라 원쓰리나 옛날에는 그게 확정이었었는데 그게 아니어서 이제 진가 스텝을 잡았을 때 데미지를 뽑는 게 좀 어렵고, 그리고 그 히트 시스템이 생겼을 때 좋다고 생각을 했는데 이 게임이 워낙 빨리 끝나서 그 히트 시스템을 활용하기 전에 게임이 끝나고, 그리고 히트 시스템이 없었을 경우에는 물구나무 자세에서 하단 쓸 기술이 없어가지고 그전보다 뭔가 좀 그 진가 스텝이나 물구나무 자세에서도 세븐보다는 좀 힘든 것 같다.
그
스택가 아니라
시스템이
스택
강화 시스템 말하는 거죠?
강화
스택
시스템.
말하는 것 같은데.
스택.
증가 스텝이 뭐죠?
증가 그라.
스택.
Okay. He said that I don't know how to explain correctly in English,
Mhm.
but that Eddie's ground stance, how to call it?
The relax.
The relax stance 1-3 is not
Not natural.
guaranteed anymore.
Yeah, not natural. Yeah.
So he has to be risky to take 50-50s, like you said.
Mhm.
And he has a, I don't know also how to call it in English,
Handstand?
but he has a kind of a stack system,
Oh,
right?
Manjinga or
Like,
whatever. The special stack thing.
Yeah, special stack thing that
Yeah.
the game is quite fast that you cannot get the full stack of that system. So
Mm.
even he goes to how to say that
Handstand.
sense with handstand, yeah. Anyway, handstand. If there is no stack, handstands is not that much good because he has to get at least one stack to use
The
low
low.
attacks and
Yeah.
lead attacks, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that much good for Tech 8 because the game is too fast.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. Like, if I get the stack Manjinga, then my opponent already has, like, I've done a combo. I need Okizemi. There's not many opportunities to use it, and in stances in handstand he has no lows unless he has stack. In relax he only has one good low, which is launch punishable. So you have to play very risky with him now. So I agree. We have a question in the chat, which is very good though. Jeondding, last question by Eddy. Do you like that he has sidewalk now? Because Eddy can now sidewalk properly in Tekken. Is this something that you like with Eddy?
Yes, I'm just typing it.
Yeah.
He will say it.
그러니까 사이드 스텝은 생긴 건 마음에 드는데 그거로 인해 사이드 스텝 4나 사이드 스텝 3 플러스 4가 너무 느려져가지고 그 전보다 좀 사용하기가 어렵다.
He likes that now Eddie has sidestep and sidewalk than before, but the only problem is sidestep moves like sidestep kicks 3+4. Those moves are really slow now. He doesn't like that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like that either. It's gonna take some time to get used to Eddy. If there's any Eddy players watching at home, I think the character can definitely work, but it's a little bit like it's a little bit kind of 50-50 now. I don't like that. It's quite risky. I like to play Eddy more defensively. But talking about defense, Rangchu. First of all, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining me. But I want to know, you obviously won the Tekken World Tour in 2018, and a lot of people said you won because you had very strong defense. You're using a low tier character, but you still won because your defense is so strong. Your defensive play. But now Tekken 8 is more offensive game. What do you think of Tekken 8 system of more aggression, power crush, and heat system? And what does the Japanese community generally think? The top players in Japan, what do they think of this game as well?
일단 저는 사람들이 이제 방어 위주의 플레이어라고 생각할 수도 있는데 저는 원래 공격을 좋아하는 공격 위주의 철권 유저고 그리고 철권 8에 대해서는 저는 모든 시스템이 다 마음에 들고 있는데 단지 이제 모든 캐릭터가 너무 세가지고 그게 좀 문제가 있는데 이제 차근차근 고쳐 나간다고 하니까 이제 그거는 천천히 기다려야 되긴 하는데 이제 아쉬운 부분은 이제 에보제팬 이후에 패치를 한다고 하니까 그게 너무 속상한 것 같습니다. 일단 여기까지.
Lots of people think that Rangchu is kind of a defensive player before, but actually, just it's my personal opinion that Rangchu is not good at doing Korean backdash. You know that?
Yeah. He's not good at backdash?
Yeah. So, no. so that he has to win. He has to win by pushing buttons.
Okay.
So he loves to attack more. So he loves all the stuff of Tekken 8 in general.
Okay.
But the issue he thinks the problem is all the characters are too much strong that the game looks quite a bit really hard to play. And upcoming the biggest tournament is Evo Japan, but they announced that they were gonna have a patch after Evo Japan, so he has some worries of Evo Japan.
Yeah. I think everybody does.
그리고
I think everyone's scared of Evo Japan. But yeah, Rangchu,
Yeah.
what about the rest of the players in Japan? Like, are they? I think that Japan, the players, maybe this game is good for them because I think they're quite aggressive players generally. Do they like this game system now? The Japanese players.
트랜스레이트.
Yeah,
Translate.
I typed. Check the message, yeah.
아, 오케이.
Yeah.
일단 일본 커뮤니티는 일단 아마추어 이제 프로 플레이어 선수들 말고 그 외의 선수들은 전부 다 이제 뭐 유럽 유저들이란지 미국 유저들처럼 생각하는 건 다 똑같아요. 다 불만도 많고 이제 뭐 문제점도 많고 아니면 뭐 좋다는 사람들도 있고 막 못 이긴 사람들 이기게 될 수 있는 것도 너무 좋아가지고 그것 때문에 좋다고 하는 사람들도 많고 그건 어느 나라를 가든가 다 똑같은데 이제 프로 플레이어들도 이제 아마 비슷한 생각을 할 것 같긴 한데 이제 일본 같은 경우에는 반남이 바로 옆에 있으니까 솔직하게 이제 리뷰를 할 수가 없는 점이 있어가지고 좀 말을 조심하고 있죠.
그래서 그 개인적으로 너가 들었던 거는 또 말하기가 그런 거지.
나도 이제 좀 얌전하게 말하는 거지 이제 좀.
Ah, okay. It's okay. He said that except pro players of Japan,
Mhm.
he thinks that it's quite a bit similar with other countries like European communities and like Koreans or United States Americans. All the communities has quite similar opinions, like lots of complaints. But some players they like the game because they can beat higher level players. But in Japan, his opinion is that Tekken is a Japan game, and pro players they are quite close to Bandai Namco, so they are just really passive of saying honest opinions.
Oh. Oh, okay.
And I also asked him that, oh, what about just telling me some just behind talks about it, and he said, oh, he's also close to Bandai Namco, so he doesn't want to talk about it.
Bro, Rangchu, just tell us, man. What do you think? What do you think?
비즈니스.
So he said that still lots of Japanese players they're just trying not to complain about the game now. So they're just saying just good points of Tekken.
I see.
That's that's how they work. Yeah, it's business.
It's business, man. Okay, so let's talk business then, yeah? Let's talk business. Phi, I'm gonna ask you first, yeah, because obviously, I think that you've taken a very measured approach to this, and you've said that you've gone from you're right, man. You're actually quite a defensive player, and I appreciate and I respect that you've gone from having to change completely your tool set going into this game, and you're just kind of you're going with it, as a defensive player that was looking to always just backdash with punish like me, I played the same with Eddy and stuff. You realize this game's different and you have to adapt to it. What though in the Tekken 8 system, like we've already heard CBM said that some things are in the system, he likes the system, but things like power crush heat engages and these things are a bit too strong sometimes. Is there anything in the system right now that you don't like, that you think that maybe should be adjusted a little bit, or is it just purely a balance issue at the moment for you?
I lean towards the balance issue, and I have this. I share the opinions that most people have been saying all this time, especially on the last episode. Heat burst is insane. Some heat smashes are crazy. You talk about when it whiffs, maybe it should not keep going. Dragonov like runs away from me. Like that's kind of weird. So things like that. I think my opinions are pretty in line with what we heard in the last episode. What needs to be tuned system wise, but I lean heavily towards less system changes and more characters. For example, the latest patch for the stage gimmick changes, right, where they wanted to nerf Devil Jin's Heaven's Gate, the floor break, and many other situations like that. I I liked the idea of, in those situations, tackling the character specifically rather than making a Tekken 8 system change that hits everybody in ways that are hard to anticipate or may cause unexpected problems. I think that, especially in a game like Tekken, where you see it takes the best players in the world multiple years to reach the level of depth and intuition and skill with their character, such that even when Tekken 7 had clear top tiers, people would get hype when people go back to Dragonov or go back to Brian, like their loyal, dedicated main, just because they were so much better, right?
Yeah.
When I think of system changes, I think it really it shakes that up. It makes it really hard for people to develop these deep instincts when you change how that instinct functions for everybody. So that's why I usually lean towards, like, why don't we just adjust combo damage or maybe individual tools and frames rather than this sweeping huge change.
Right.
That's my general perspective, I think, on what I don't like about Tekken 8. And I think one thing I also would like to say is that it was said before as well, that the mid-tier versus mid-tier in Tekken 8 is so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun if you're fighting someone with clear weaknesses and clear strengths versus someone whose game plan is hit you, doesn't matter how.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when I think of the top, like Dragonov Fang, it's your goal is to hit them, pick any move, any out of a hat. This one. And but when I think of the characters where it's like, oh, they struggle with Ray, like fighting an Asuka, like King Ray Jr. is so strong, right? And fighting him feels like very Tekken. Like, Asuka is a character that I can't overextend into, and he's good at using her like knockdown low. So I'm balancing this strategy on top of the, rather than just like, great, he's here, I gotta survive. So that's my general perspective. Is systems. I like to keep the systems the same as much as possible. Heat burst is good, a little too good, and yeah, the mid tiers are so fun to fight.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that Super Kuma said something very similar as well, that playing the mid-tier versus mid-tier Tekken is, in this game right now, as it is very fun because of weaknesses and stuff. We'll get into balance a little bit later. But as our final question, and then on the system, CBM, I'll ask you, this is the same question, is there anything in the system that you don't like? Because PhiDX is saying that actually, just generally, the system is pretty good. I think you already answered that you like the system. Is there like something like maybe heat burst you think that maybe too strong? Is there anything that you would like to see adjusted, or the Korean community has said that this is too strong or this is too weak in the system?
In general, I think just now current Tekken 8 is okay. Yeah, just accept the opinion I told you about hit burst.
Yeah.
It's a bit too much sometimes, but I think it's okay. Yeah.
But what
Game is okay.
if you would change it, what would you do? Would you make it like it's not? I think that on the last episode, Arslan and some other people were saying that it shouldn't be plus on block. Also Gosain mentioned as well in the chat that the throw system was a big thing as well, that they're tracking throws, homing. It's things like this. Like, is there anything that you would change about or are you okay with it?
Oh yeah, I also saw lots of tweets even in Korean that lots of people say that tracking throw system, they don't like it. I also don't like, but if they change that throw system tracking, maybe King is not that much strong as now. But sometimes as a Jin player now, I'm okay with that because Jin's tracking moves only standing for. So I didn't care about it, so it's okay for me. But I saw lots of Korean community players, they also complained about throw system, and I also agree with Arslan and other players. They had a talk before that hit burst. It's a plus frame even on block. It changed the atmosphere that imagine that your opponent is Xiao Yu and her hit system is crazy that and I was winning, but when she turns on hits by hit burst, uh, everything changes.
Yeah.
So even if it doesn't have a plus frame, I think it's gonna be okay. But it's a power crush plus frame even on block, and it's a side tracking. That's I think sometimes it's too much.
Yeah.
Maybe they can nerf it a bit. I don't know how it should be, but yeah.
Yeah, Rangchu, do you agree? Do you think that Heat Burst is too strong and throws tracking? Like, what do you think of Heat Burst plus on block and throws in Tekken 8?
일단 히트버스트가 너무 길고 거의 호밍기잖아요. 그래가지고
Mhm.
이제 중거리에서 상대방이 히트버스트를 쓰는 걸 알고 있어도 이제 파일을 할 방법이 아예 없는데 레이저츠 말고는 일단 그거에 대해서 파일법을 하나 좀 리스크가 있어도 파일법이 하나 있었으면 좋겠고
네.
잡기도 이제 다음 패치에서는 저는 호밍기로 이렇게 바뀐 거는 좀 좋다고 생각하거든요. 왜냐면은 호밍기 성능이 캐릭터마다 다 다르니까 잡기가 호밍기로 바뀐 거는 좋다고 생각하는데 이제 잡기 카운터 풀기 시간이 너무 짧으니까
음.
풀 수 있는 시간이 너무 짧으니까 그거에 대해서 좀 불만이 많았었는데 근데 저번에 이제 반남에서 이제 인터뷰 발표했을 때는 다음 패치 때 이제 잡기 카운터 풀기 시간에 대해서는 좀 조정을 해보겠다라고 말을 했으니까 일단 그거는 기다리고 있고 그렇게 생각하고 있습니다.
Mhm. Okay. He said that hit burst is really long and it's even tracking. So when he has quite a bit distance, and he knows opponents will use hit burst, but he cannot do anything except rage arts. So even he wants anything can break that hit burst, even it's risky. He wants something uh, else to break that
To
hit
counter.
burst.
Okay.
To counter, yeah. And he thinks that when throws now changes, they got changes that it tracks. It's okay. He likes it because all the characters has each different tracking moves, and those properties are different. That it's now okay that people just can use throw except instead of using those tracking moves.
Okay.
But the only problem is when you get a counter hit throw, it's really short to break.
Mhm.
So he had lots of complaints about it. But last time when they announced, those producers, they said that they're just thinking about the timing maybe longer. So he's just waiting for that.
I also saw tweets, Rangchu, where you spoke about you want heat engages also nerfed plus frame and wall heat engager as well, heat dash, plus frames as well. Is that something you still want? You want the nerf on the frames?
인게이저가 너무 플러스가 많고 그다음에 이제 그리고 나서 이제 생각한 게 이제 트윗에다가는 안 썼는데 좀 이제 불쾌하다고 생각한 게 히트 대시 중에 콤보가 들어가는 히트 대시기가 있잖아요.
네.
그 히트 대시기가 이제 보정을 많이 받긴 한데 타수를 마이너스 3을 해놨잖아요. 저는
네.
그거를 왜 데미지를 줄여놓고 왜 그 타수를 마이너스 3으로 했는지 저는 그게 너무 좀 이해하기가 힘든 부분인 것 같습니다.
Okay. He still thinks that hit engager when it hits, it's too much big advantage, like it's plus 17.
Mhm.
And actually he hasn't tweeted about it, but one thing he doesn't like about hit dash is that some certain moves, when they do hit dash, it's a combo launcher.
Yeah.
Even it has a really, really high how to say low percentage combo damage, but the problem is hit number. It's like it begins around like -2 or -3. So when they do hit dash with combo launcher, the combo is really really long.
Mm.
He doesn't like that. The combo is really really long.
Ah, okay. From the heat dash, okay. Yeah,
Mm.
interesting. Jeondding, do you agree with Rangchu? You think that first of all, what do you think of homing tracking throws? Heat burst, do you like heat burst or do you think it's too strong? And what about heat engager? Is it too much plus frame? What do you think of these things, Jeondding?
근데 히트 버스트가 그 때리고 나서 그건가?
그
들어가는 거야?
바운드.
바운드?
히트 버스트가 바운드. 그 강제로 히트 키는 거.
역백로.
히트 그냥
어떤
생으로
거?
키는 거예요.
아, 생으로
히트
키는 거.
He doesn't
I-
know hit burst.
Oh,
Yeah. Now we are teaching him. Yeah.
oh, he's learning
Yeah.
Tekken 8, guys. We're teaching Jeondding Tekken 8 now in this.
Plus 3.
I don't know now, 데키네이. 아, 히트 버스트, 일단 히트 버스트 같은 경우는 솔직히 딱히 불만이 없고, 근데 잡기 같은 것도 솔직히, 그러니까 원래 에디가 많이 사용했어서, 에디 나오면은 이게 되게 좋을 거라고 생각을 했는데,
네.
결국은 이제 에디 잡기가 없어서, 이 호밍이나 아까 랑추가 말했던 것처럼, 솔직히 카운터 잡기는 아무리 연타 눌러도 아예 안 풀리는 경우가 너무 많아서,
네.
그런 거는 좀 바꾸면 좋지 않을까. 그러니까 어느 정도 UF 프레임을 좀 줘서 풀 수는 있게끔 사람이 일단 연습을 해서
네.
풀 수
네네.
있게끔만 좀 만들어주면 좋을 것 같아요. 그리고 뭐
그-
히트 인게이저 같은 경우도 약간 캐릭터마다 다른데 히트 인게이저를 기술을 키고 켰을 때 이득이 좀, 그러니까 조금 뭐라 그러지? 캐릭터별로 이지선다를 세게 걸 수 있는 애들이 있고 좀 약하게 걸 수 있는 애들이 좀 나눠져 있어서 이득을 좀 더 줄이면 그거보다는 이득을 조금 줄이면 좀 낫지 않을까? 그러니까 어느 정도의 약간 랑추가 말한 것처럼 방어 수단은 어느 정도 만들 수 있게끔 그러니까 무조건 찍기가 아니라 어느 정도의 방어 수단은 조금 그냥 5대5가 아닌 뭐 행신이라던가 이런 걸로 조금 피할 수 있으면 좀 더 좋을 것 같아요.
Okay.
내
He's
말
becoming Optimus
어렵게
Prime. Yeah.
했나?
He looks like him too.
He's in Mars. living in Mars. Yeah.
형, 잠깐 말이 끊겼어가지고 마지막에 방어 수단이 히트 인게이저 맞추고 완전 찍기가 아니라 어느 정도 그래도 횡으로도 피할 수 있다. 뭔가
그거
그 정도
말고도
프레임으로.
좀 해줬으면 좋겠다.
Okay. He he thinks that hit burst is okay.
Yeah.
And about throws, in before Tekken 8, Eddy uses lots of 1+2 throws. So he was expecting that Eddy can be really good at using counter throw, but he doesn't have it anymore. So that he just thinks that maybe they can change counter hit throws that throw break timing longer,
Yeah.
that people can practice, and he want to change it. Yeah. And about hit engagers, some characters when they have plus 17 50 is crazy,
Yeah.
so maybe they can change, they can put more defensive options like sidestep. Maybe it means lower advantage.
Yeah. Yeah.
which can be used. Yeah, he said that.
Okay, so he basically agrees with Rangchu's tweet, because if you make it from +17 to +6, then in that situation you can sidestep, you can power crush, you can rage art. But right now, if it's +17, you have to take the mix up. And I think that's what is also something that's a little bit scary in tournament. Obviously, you guys are going to be competing in tournament. I saw I guess all of you are going to be going to DreamHack as well. I saw a lot of people signing up for DreamHack. Top 8, it got announced, by the way, guys, if you don't know, that DreamHack Dallas and DreamHack Summer in Sweden are both going to be esports World Cup qualifiers. So we're going to be seeing a lot of top players going there. That will be probably after the patch though. So this is why we're discussing right now what these guys are thinking about the game at the moment. But Phi, now that you've heard these guys, what do you think of the suggested changes to perhaps the heat burst or heat engager mechanic?
I'm glad you gave me a chance to come back, because I totally forgot about how I feel about fighting King when he throws me on counter hit.
And throws, yeah.
And it tracks me, yeah. So I think I think either tracking, throw, or the counter hit property, one of them should go. I think both at the same time is crazy. I think I personally like the idea of sidestepping throws, but as a Lily player, I also like tracking people with throws. So I feel the same way. It's like I could go either way, like whichever they decide that I should play with, I will play with.
Yeah.
But the counter hit throws really bugs me a lot, especially if I'm jabbing and then I get giant swung and I'm still hitting one and I can't break it. I'm like, there's no way. And I did grab breaks in Tag 2. That's where I learned them. So even with, I think, Legacy Tekken throw breaks, it's hard. I think it's still really so.
Yeah. No, it is difficult.
I feel that way.
But didn't they announce that they're gonna buff those? Like make it easier to break?
I think so, and I'm very hopeful for that. Even if they lower it to the Tag 2 window, I think that'd be cool. Like even if it's slightly harder but not impossible.
Yeah.
It's not impossible now, right? But like it feels that way. It feels impossible for a guy like so. I think that change will be good. And then in terms of heat engage, I think it's it's an interesting dilemma, because there are some situations where I get heat engaged on and I'm like, okay, I deserve that. And the mix-up feels like, okay, this is what I get. And then there are some times, like when Leo does they block my low and now I'm heat engaged. I'm like, wow, okay. Or when Lars, and Dragunov do 1-1-1 or 1-2-1, then I'm heat engaged. I'm like, okay. So it feels like sometimes the mix-up is like, okay, I deserve that. I'll handle it. And so I think it probably won't be balanced this way, but I could see it as different moves being heat engagers with different advantages. Makes more sense to me. Like if it's a fast heat engage that you can get often, maybe don't give as strong a mix. If it's a big whiff punish or a big big read, then maybe give them more advantage.
Oh, that's an interesting point actually. So you're saying that, for example, if Leo does the while standing for 1+2, that should probably give less plus frames, but something like a Death Fist could give more plus frames as a heat engager.
Yeah, and there's already a visual case for this. Like, it would be a bit confusing at first because it's always zooming in, it's always turning blue. But sometimes your character flips over, sometimes your character is still standing, right? Sometimes they completely land on their face and get up. And I think if they could leverage that, right? Like already we know that when you heat engage, sometimes it combos, sometimes it doesn't. So on maybe that could be something like sometimes you have a lot of plus frames, sometimes you don't. Counter argument is maybe that's confusing for the defender. It's more knowledge checky to learn. But it's an idea. I think it's one way to go about it, because I think there are some whiff punishes or again big reward things where it's like, yeah, they should probably.
Yeah.
But that's my gut instinct. For me, the heat engage feels less bad than the throws. The throws are my biggest complaint for sure.
I see. Well, hopefully these things will be nerfed. CBM, is there anything you want to add to that?
One thing I want to say that the reason why they put 17 with all hit engagers, because lots of newcomers, they complained about Tekken before that all the stuff frames are different and they complained about those stuff. So maybe they just care about those newcomers that if they just unify all the frames like hit dash +5 on block, hit engagers +17 on hit, maybe they just care about those stuff. But if they just change all the frame advantage by each moves, maybe it's gonna be really hard for just light players.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. Very
maybe
confusing.
yeah. I also agree with your opinion that as a like hard player, as a pro player, it's okay, but maybe
Yeah.
for all Tekken players, it's gonna be quite a bit tricky and confusing.
Mm.
And what?
Yeah, go on.
Oh yeah.
Go on.
Oh, actually, I just wanted to say one thing that Rangchu want to say that he just he texted me that he didn't like that hit system +17 is okay, but people they can buffer their inputs like health sweep. They don't need to show crouch dash.
Oh,
He didn't like that.
after heat engager.
After
Like
engaging, yeah.
learning to like learning 3 and
Oh, yeah.
sweep.
Right. Okay, so yeah, when you're running, you could just like press basically forward. You can buff with the input, and then you'll just do a slash kick afterwards. And there's actually nothing you can do about that. So you just gotta take it, right? There's no counterplay to it. It's crazy the momentum that you can get in this game, and I've already seen the amount of comebacks from just like let's say Svi, like you mentioned, Leo's 11 frame whilst under punish, and then it's completely turned around now. The game you're on the back foot. It's definitely stress, man. But I also agree, with CBM point. I think even for me, man, like rage arts were a little bit confusing in Tekken 7. I try to play a lot of different characters. They all have different inputs. They have imagine a new player playing, and it's like Lucky Chloe's rage art. You have to block low, and I was watching a stream. I remember I was watching a stream of a new player who was picking up Tekken 7, and she was like, "Yeah, I baited at the rage art. Fuck you," and then she gets hit by the low and she's dead. So it's like it can be, it's good. I think I like the fact that it's unified, all mid -15, and that kind of stuff makes it easier, not just for the casuals but for pros as well. But yeah, that was interesting. Wow, we got a good idea about what the communities in these different places are thinking, and I think we're all kind of on the same page when it comes to the system. But let's get to the next point. Let's get to the next topic, and this is the topic that we need to talk about, because most people, this is where the problem stems. It looks like, right? The post patch balance of Tekken 8. Now, I'm not sure what the patch really did to I don't think it was a balance patch. I think the patch that we got was more, from the explanation that we got from Bandai Namco, was that it was more kind of just bug fixing and unintended stuff. Azucena's running 3-2 got changed, but it looks like some people are still not happy with it because the running 3 kind of ran away from you, but it got changed again, right? So it's easier to punish now. I think I haven't tested it. But again, I'll start with you, CBM. The balance of the game, what are the issues? What's your top 5? And these kind of things. I mean, what do you think of the balance right now in Tekken?
We had some tournaments in Korea, and I met Osan, and he's playing Azucena recently.
Yeah.
Even they changed maybe the purpose of a recent patch of Azucena's running 3-2 was maybe it's good for like whip punch, they thought, but after they change it, every time when I do sidestep, it switched the sides, and I couldn't even do any whip punish.
Wow.
So I was in trouble. That even lots of players, they told me that, oh, you can just parry that and just launch. But every time all the top players, when they play Azucena, they change all the timings, and Jin's parry is not the same as Tekken 7's parry. So I couldn't take that risk. And so I didn't like it, but they just said that upcoming on Tuesday, they're just gonna change it. So I have to see what's gonna be changed. But anyway, yeah. Lots of Koreans, they said that after Azucena's running moves, when it get changes again,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Dragunov will be the top.
Yeah.
And just for me, like you said, for me, top 5, I can just say, just currently, Arsena Fang,
Dragunov.
Dragunov.
Yeah.
I think those are top
Nina.
3. I just cannot pick any other top 5.
Yeah, I
Maybe
won't-
Nina. Nina is good. Yeah,
Okay, so
Nina's really
I
good.
won't ask you what your top 5 is, but let me ask you what you think the problem characters are. Like, what are the problematic characters at the moment? Forget about top 5, top 10, whatever. Like, there are characters that you think are balanced. What do you think are the characters that are unbalanced at the moment, that are too strong,
Oh,
maybe? Yeah.
I just can say that some characters they have really good with doing some kind of pressure.
Yeah.
Even they make some moves block. It's a plus frame like Fang's back 3 or Fang's how to say that full crouch 3, no 4 maybe
Oh, yeah,
that
Full
one.
Catch 4, yeah.
Full crouch 4, and that's really big advantage for him. Or like Nina.
Mhm.
Nina has really good pressure that Nina has really good power crush hit engager.
Yeah.
So every time I block, well, I had to carry about. I have to think about her power crush, and she can do guaranteed moves after that power crush. It's really big damage. So I just think that like Dragunov, Nina, and Fang, those characters have really good pressure. Even they have every time they just attack, and I had to block, and I used lots of rage arts to avoid those situations.
Mm.
So even like Xiao Yu, she's really strong, and lots of people say she's broken, but she's only feel like she's only broken when she's
In
in
heat.
hits mode,
Yeah.
and I don't know how to say that. Stands like she's walking
Oh,
like
Hypnotist.
this, and
Hypnotist.
yeah, that stance 50/50 is crazy, but it's only for hit on hit. But other characters like Dragunov, Fang, Nina, actually even they don't have a hit, they are still strong. So I think those characters are like still overpowered. Maybe they will change it after Evo Japan.
Mhm.
But I'm also worried about Evo Japan that maybe I meet random Dragunov guy and I got all the time down back 3+4 and lose.
Yeah, we're very scared
Yeah.
of Dragunov. Jeondding, what do you think? Balance, which characters too strong? Top 5. What's your opinion?
Dragunov, Ajusena, and Nina,
Mm.
Pang. I think it's Yoshi.
Yoshi.
Yoshimitsu.
Oh,
Yeah.
why Yoshi?
그러니까 다른 캐릭터들은 지금 이 게임이 어그레시브하게 내가 마음대로 공격을 할 수 있는데 그 요불 하나 그거 이제 그 기술 하나 때문에 이 어그레시브답지 않게 게임을 할 수가 없어. 그게 그래서 좀 요시랑 게임을 할 때는 내가 원래 공격했던 방식이 아니라 한 번 참고 두 번 참고 해서 좀 상대랑 심리전을 하기가 좀 어렵다. 이 정도?
All the characters, even like Fang, Nina, or Arsena, when he has a turn on attacking, he can be aggressive. But Yoshimitsu, he has a flash, so he has to think about flash timing that he cannot be aggressive like fighting against other characters. So he thinks that Yoshimitsu, even they don't use flash, it's really hard for mind games.
Yeah, I agree. We got Kane and Trench here, man, and he's been doing so well. And I think his combos damage is crazy. I think the fact that he has spin, as Marco said in the chat, the spin is really good as like to sidestep things, and the flash is crazy. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for Yoshimitsu, but it seems like a lot of you are saying Nina. Like Nina, it seems to be a big issue. That's not. We haven't heard a lot of people talking about Nina. Actually, it's interesting that you guys are mentioning her because we also have Jod here in Europe, and he's been doing really well with Nina. I think she's super oppressive. I think she's very strong. But most the conversation is about Dragunov, Fang, Azucena, maybe Ling. But Nina, not many people are talking about her. Phi, what do you think about that, man? I mean, is it generally what you've been hearing in America as well? Have you heard much of Nina, and what do you think about the other characters they mentioned?
Yeah, I'm definitely in agreement with Nina. I think that um, I don't have probably the same level of depth of perspective because I don't fight as many Ninas.
Mhm.
But my perspective is similar to Yoshimitsu, where in a different way. So let me talk about Yoshi first because I have the stronger opinions about
Yeah.
Yoshi, and then I can elaborate on Nina.
Okay.
But when I think about Yoshimitsu, historically, he is like the rule breaking character, right? He gets the flash, he gets all these weird stances, and he gets to run with those, right? And in exchange, maybe his basic Tekken is a little weaker. Like Tekken Tag 2, he didn't have the basic upper down forward, right? He had a different move.
Yeah.
And I think slowly in Tekken 7, they give him better and better moves. See the big season 5 change, I think. He gets the counter hit mid.
Yeah.
And there's just a pattern of giving him better and better tools. Now, when he's come to Tekken 8, he has solid options with just down forward 2, flash, 1-1 is crazy, right? He has all of these really good basic. And now he has the ability to heal more than other characters, more combo damage. And he has access to the casino gameplay when he wants, right? So it's not the scariest thing for somebody who's like a new player. They're coming at you 3-1, the mid-high, they go into the fly stand, predictable. But if you're fighting somebody who can play Tekken and then they suddenly decide to do this when they're losing, it's suddenly all of the advantage you had is gone. You can't stop it freely because he has flash. So he gets to casino when he wants. He gets to anti-Tekken you when he wants. And he can do regular Tekken to stay solid. And I think that's a lot. I think it's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Is it as bad as Fang and Dragunov? Maybe not. But it's, I think, certainly very, very powerful. And when I think of Nina, I think similarly, where there's a lot of technical demand for the pilot, right? The person who's playing Nina has to work pretty hard. But once they're there, she still has all these new strings that are like, yeah, the high might kill her, but it will also end your life and put her in heat. She has the new forward fours, like jumping mid. You can go into the sidestep stances and evade any kind of check. So you might just have to hold what she does. And I got hit by somebody doing that forward four into the instant sidestep 2. So I tried to duck the high in the string and I got launched.
Yeah.
And so I said, what? So I just have to sit here?
Yeah.
And I think that's what it feels like against these maybe not God characters, but like the children of God, right? It's like they can just do it, and you just have to sit there and guess right. And that's, I think, where the difficulty comes. So I would actually even add Elisa to that on top of that. I think in addition to Dragunov and Fang, I think Elisa, Nina, and Yoshimitsu are really, really hard to fight as someone trying to be consistent. Someone trying to be a really consistent high-performing player. They have the ability to play solid Tekken and to just do
Yeah. Yeah, Elisa kept her crazy movement as well. That's the thing, and she has good
I
options.
can't hit her.
Yeah.
I can't hit her.
Her movement's insane, and she has all that chainsaw shit as well, man. It's like, you know, she's kept a lot of her game style from the previous game. I know I saw a CBM, you made a reaction when he mentioned Elisa. Do you agree with Elisa as well, as a bit too strong?
Yeah. Chainsaw stops are so crazy. Every time I had to block, but you know it's a chip damage.
Yeah.
How can we call it chip damage? It's a big chunk damage.
It's not chip, it's chunk damage. Man. Yeah, underrated character for sure, man. Rangchu. So balanced Tekken 8 top characters, and is there some character that you think needs to be nerfed in Tekken 8?
밸런스는 이제 앞으로 수정해 나간다고 하니까 그거 얘기 대해서는 뭐 더 말할 필요도 없고요. Top 5?
Yeah, top 5.
what you said in Korean and just asking in English.
Top five?
What he said just before was balance. They're just gonna do patch, so they just he just wanna not to complain about the stuff. Like he's just thinking about the business. Business. Yes.
Oh my god. So he's not gonna tell me what characters are too strong.
Yes, Japanese culture. Yes.
He's not Korean anymore. Yeah.
Top five. Okay.
Top five.
Dragunov,
Uh-huh.
아즈세나,
Mhm.
팽, 데블진,
Uh-huh.
화랑 월 샤오유,
Hwoarang. Hwoarang top
Hwoarang.
5.
화랑 월 샤오유, 월 레이나, 월 알리사, 월.
Ah, there's a lot of characters. That's interesting. That's interesting though. Hwoarang, we haven't heard anyone say that Hwoarang is top 5. Why do you think
Yes.
Rangchu Hwoarang is so strong in this game?
그러니까 이제 이 게임이 히트 인게이저가 있으니까 중하단 배합이 엄청 좋고 이제 최대한 리스크를 적게 하면서 리턴을 많이 가져와야 되는 상황이 많이 발생하다 보니까 이제 화랑 같은 경우는 초스카이랑 로아이가 있잖아요.
네.
얘네 같은 경우는 초스카이랑 로아이를 막 무지성으로 걸어온다고 하면은 이제 횡으로 피한다는 선택지가 있는데 이번
네.
작에서는 이제 횡신을 피한다는 선택지가 많이 줄어들어 버리다 보니까 이제 중하단 배합이 극단적으로 좋은 캐릭터들이 저는 우선시하게 그 탑티어에 올라온다고 생각합니다.
Oh, he said that the system makes lots of big advantage like hit engager on hit. So that some characters like Hwoarang, he has a down 3-4 and skyrocket, those kind of stuff, mid and low 50-50s
Mm.
has less risky that some situations we cannot do sidestep. That those kind of just 50-50s are so crazy that he thinks Hwoarang is really strong right now.
Mm. Oh, wow. Well, do you agree? What do you think? You guys got
Me?
some good horror. I mean, you have what's it, Edge, who got really close to winning a tournament recently, and you guys have Jeondding and some. I'm sure you got other Hwoarang players. I mean, what do the Koreans think?
케이위스.
Okay, we have Kwis, of course. We have Kwis, and he's been doing very well in Europe. So, what do you think of Hwoarang then? What do the Koreans think as well, like playing there right now?
For me, Hwoarang is really strong, but not like top 5. That maybe I'm also kind of a player who also know how to play Hwoarang. Maybe I know how they play,
Mm.
so it's okay. And he's really good, but maybe as a gym player, he's against Hwoarang is okay that I can just parry his new homing tracking move.
Oh yeah,
So it's okay. But let me ask Jeondding about Hwoarang.
yeah.
형 Hwoarang 어떻게 생각하세요?
화랑 약간 이번에 새로 생긴 그 호밍기가 되게 짜증나고 예전부터 정말 좀 마음에 안 들었던 건데 그 로하이 맞고 나서 이제 그 발사덱인가?
네네 따닥.
파워풀실인가? 그 그거 맞을 때마다 되게 좀 불합리하다는 생각이 한 번씩 들긴 해. 그거 말고는 뭐
성능적으로는 막 탑급은
성-
아니다.
성능적으로는 탑5라고 생각하진 않은 것 같아.
What he
왜냐면
said
다른
was
애들이 워낙
that
성능이 좋은 게 많아서.
okay. His new homing tracking move is really annoying, and one thing he didn't like since maybe Tekken 6 or 7 that even he blocked his down 3-4, he has to care about his power crush or how to call it, that 8th frame
Flappy
kick.
kicks. Flappy.
Kicks.
Yeah.
He thinks it's unfair.
Yeah.
But other characters, they are too good, much stronger characters than Hwoarang, so he thinks Hwoarang is not that kind of like in top 5.
Okay. Interesting. If you guys have Hwoarang players a lot? I don't know if you guys have a lot of Hwoarang players in
Never heard of
USA.
them. They're yeah. I think I get my ass beat by Hwoarang all the time, but it's noticeably different in what is required of the player to do, especially when I'm playing a character like Lily or Steve. Honestly, like I think the Hwoarang is so scary once he gets going, but I have options to try and stop him. Right, like if I don't die to Skyrocket, if I don't die to down 3-4, and I play Steve can 1-2-1 for free all the time. Lily can forward 4. She can do anything. Lily can do anything, and it makes it harder for him to ever get started. But like, there's nothing I can do to stop Fang from getting started. There's nothing I could do to stop Reina, Dragonov from getting started, right? And then same with Yoshi, Elisa. I think all of these characters, Azucena, all these characters have things that force you to deal with what they have. And Hwoarang is scary, but once he's in that, once you let him get there, and I think that's kind of the theme of Tekken 8 is like the idea, I think, is to try and stop your opponent from ever getting to a position to run you over, right? Which sometimes that means run them over first rather than defend. Sometimes it means defend for the 2 seconds that you have to and then start trying to run them over again. And I think that Hwoarang has that vulnerability, whereas the God characters don't, right? And they're always in a position to run you over.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to put Hwoarang top 5 compared to the others. But as someone who loves to wait around for my opponent to give me an opportunity, I struggle with Hwoarang a lot personally too. But I think it's hard for me to put him top.
I see. Because you're saying that he has clear weakness, a clear weakness.
Yeah,
so
he has
exploit.
clear windows and weaknesses, especially with my matchups. So it's hard for me to ever say.
Yeah.
For me, every time I lose, I'm like, my bad, you know.
Okay. But there is one character that no one mentioned that I want to talk about, because it was a character that initially, in the beginning, everybody was saying was OP, and that's Jun Kazama. So what do people think now? The game's been out for a bit longer. I'll continue with you, Fee, and then I'll ask everyone else. But with Jun Kazama, this is a character that has won tournaments, actually, and even in Europe has won tournaments relatively recently. But where's the conversation gone with Jun? I didn't think, even from the beginning, that Jun was OP. I think she was strong, but definitely not OP. But I mean, what are you guys thinking? What do you think of Jun?
My mind immediately goes to the match I saw between Arslan and I wish I remembered his name, the June player from Saudi.
The June player? Yeah, no, I don't remember his name as well. But
yeah, they played the mirror, and I watched the style. At first, I thought, June is really annoying and she does a ton of damage, but how does she work if you have good string defense? How does she work if you chill out, don't die into her? And I watched it happen in real time with that Arslan mirror, right? Like the other June just went crazy. Sidestep 4, sidestep 4, sidestep 4, sidestep 4, and then do something crazy and launch, right? So it's like, I think if you play June in the Tekken 8 style, she's a lot scarier than I initially expected, right? At first I thought like, oh, well, what if you just treat her like a really strong Asuka? Really defend. Like, can she really do crazy things? And she had annoying strings, and they gave her some real string mix-ups, which, very Tekken 8, but it felt manageable. And then I watched that set, and now I'm scared of June. So I think that it may require more time to see how the different styles of June evolve. I barely play like high-level June players in America. It's always only been online ranked, so I've never been too scared. But I think after watching some international players, it's like, oh, okay, this character might be really, really scary if you play like that style of like, I do not care if I die, I will kill you, you know? And it really felt like Arslan was trying to like manage the risk and play like really intelligently, defensively. And it seemed like the answer was go, go, go. Even though her tool set feels more defensive and things like that. And,
Yeah.
She's clearly, I think, built to be that like range, defensive, and then small poke character. I watched this guy just treat all of her moves like they were plus. It didn't matter what he did, and then he just won. And I was like, wow, okay, maybe that's what you have to do.
Yeah, even with a quote unquote more defensive character. Rangchu, what do you think of Jun Kazama now? Do you like people said before? Nee made a tweet before saying she was OP, I think, or too strong. But now, what do you think, Jun Kazama?
아직도 준은 탑 10 정도로 생각하고 있는데 이제 준은 이제 철권 8 신 캐릭터긴 한데 플레이 스타일이 완전 철권 7에 가까운 스타일이다 보니까 방어적 그러니까 방어 위주로 플레이를 해야 되고 준을 잘하려면은 너무 진짜 완벽하게 플레이를 해야 되기 때문에 방어를 그래가지고 너무 어려운 것 같아요. 철권 8은 이제 철권 8은 다른 캐릭터들은 이제 쉽게 이길 수 있는 캐릭터가 너무 많은데 준은 진짜 완벽하게 맞고 완벽하게 플레이를 해야 되다 보니까 좀 뭐라 해야 되지?
주도권을
약간 효율이
가져가기가
좀
어렵다.
떨어진 것 같아요. 좀 약간
그
구독 그 뭐야 주도권을 가져오기도 힘들고 효율도 좀 딸리는 것 같아요. 그러니까
에이.
게임 내의 효율이 아니라 그 사람들이 뭐 플레이를 할 때 2시간 동안 드라 골라서 디체트를 쓰는 게 더 낫지 한 20시간 연습해가지고 상대방이 몰아붙이는 거 다 막으면서 받아칠 생각하는 것보다는 그냥 공격을 몇 번 더 하는 게 효율이 더 좋다 보니까 결론적으로는 잘하기 좀 어렵다 캐릭터.
Okay. What he said was that he still thinks that Jun is in top 10. Even Jun is a new character of Tekken 8, but what he thinks that how Jun players they play and how she's made to be played that it's like kind of Tekken 7 playstyle that passive.
Mm.
So when players they play Jun, they had to be really passive and really good at doing defense. So that it's really bad point for Jun because it's a bad efficiency. He thinks that Jun has to block all the stuff and be perfect of taking all the risky pressure against opponents. The one thing that why he said that Jun is really bad with efficiency. That like the example what he said was like imagine you play Dragunov and just doing some like crazy 50-50s like down back 3+4 those kind of stuff like playing with Dragunov for 2 hours. It's better that than like playing 20 hours of June like you try to block all the stuff. It's it's not good efficient way to play.
Yeah.
Just play other characters and do some just cheap broken pressure. He thinks that it's just better to be just good player now.
I see. What do you think, CBM, about Jun? Do you agree with that, or do you think?
I also agree that every time when I meet Jun players in on online, I have quite good winning rates against Jun because when I play Jin, lots of people say that I'm kind of a like mixed playstyle between Tekken 7 and Tekken 8. That when I do lots of aggressive playstyle, it feels like Tekken 8, but when I be passive, it's like Tekken 7. But like how to deal with Jun for my in my opinion, I also became Tekken 7 style Jin, but Jun has I think I don't know why, but every time I'm also good at blocking Jun's low attacks because she's trying to do non-punishable like launchers, like down for 2,
Yeah.
1? Was it down for
Down
2,
for
1?
2, yeah, 1+2 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, 1+2, yeah, whatever. And yeah, when if it doesn't hit, Jun maybe the players they feel the pressure themselves because if it doesn't hit, they want to make big damage comeback. But every time when they try to do some stuff, they consume their health bar.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not that much aggressive playstyle. So I also think that Jun is really hard to play right now because she's not kind of an aggressive playstyle.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Yeah, not a top 5 in this.
I agree. Okay, Jeondding, first, what do you think of Jun? But also, I saw that you played Reina as well, and Reina, I think, is going to be. I think Reina will be quite popular at Evo Japan this year. What do you think of Jun, and why did you go to Reina? Why did you play her before Eddy came out? We'll get the transition.
우선은 주는 아직 내가 어려워서 그런지 주는 좀 그러니까 많이 상대를 안 해봐서 내 입장에서는 준이 좀 굉장히 까다롭고 그리고 이제 뭐 그 앉았을 때 12프레임 딜캐나 10프레임 딜캐가 조금 데미지가 너무 세지 않나라는 생각이 들고 그리고 그 미야비 그거 하고
앉아
나서
손.
뜨는 것도 조금 너무 오버 스펙이지 않나 그런 것들이 주는 그 정도?
What he said was he hasn't faced Jun much. That he didn't have lots of experience of Jun, so that he's still struggling against Jun,
Oh,
and he thinks Jun's full crouch punish that one pursuit
yeah.
that damage and wall carry is too much. He thinks, and full crouch 2, maybe that low attacks. When it count hit,
Launcher, guaranteed. Yeah.
it's launcher, so it's also good. But
Mm.
except that maybe he just think that he doesn't have lots of experience against Jun,
Mm.
so he's just still struggling with Jun. But maybe when he has experience of Jun, maybe it's gonna be okay. I think.
And Reina, this is the character that has been, I don't know, a little bit controversial because there's some people that say she's not strong, she's not good. I think she is very strong. I think she's super annoying. I think very good for tournament. I think forward 2 is stupid move, What do you guys think of Reina? Is she a problem, a character for tournaments? Do you think she's going to be difficult to play against? I guess Rangchu, what do you think of Reina? Is she really, really strong right now for you?
일단 뭐 누가 구리다고 했는지 모르겠는데 개소리고요. 그러니까 이제 레이나를 잘하려면은 레이나가 굉장히 어려운 캐릭터인데 그거를 끌어올리려면은 굉장히 많은 시간이랑 노력이 필요해가지고 이제부터 지금보다 이제 더 티어가 올라올 수도 있는 캐릭터라고 생각을 하고요. 그다음에 이제 레이나 장점 중 하나가 많은 사람들이 잘 모르는 부분이 있는데 레이나가 잡기가 지금 이 철권판에서 잡기가 엄청 좋은 기술인데 잡기가 안 잡히는 캐릭터거든요. 그러니까 플러스 4, 5 상황에서도 초근접인 상황에서도 레이나한테 잡기를 쓰면은 레이나가 백대시 한 번으로 피해지는 판정이 있어가지고 그 부분이 굉장히 저는 강한 점 중에 하나라고 생각을 하고 있습니다.
Okay. What he said was he's just saying those players who said Reina is not good. It's a bullshit.
No business.
Okay. Okay. He said that Reina is really hard. That she has lots of tools. So when players they take time and effort, she has a potential to be like much higher ranked tier character. And one thing he thinks she's really good that she has really small hitbox. Even like players they have like +4 or +5 frame advantage. Reina's hitbox is small that even she just does only backdash once. They cannot
Attack more.
get attack and they cannot grab. Reina.
Oh wow. Okay.
Mm.
Interesting. So Jeondding, do you agree with that? Do you think that Reina is very strong, and will you continue to play her because you played her before? What do you think of Reina, Jeondding?
우선 레이나는 뭐 지금 다 똑같이 말하긴 하는데 정말 이 캐릭터를 완벽하게 다루면은 지금 어느 캐릭터보다도 높은 티어라고 생각을 하고 지금 솔직히 한국에는 레이나를 플레이하는 사람이 지금 없어가지고 대회에서 결국 사용했던 사람이 나밖에 없어가지고 볼 사람이 없긴 한데 대회 끝나고 나서 연습을 많이 해봤는데 지금 약간 기본 통발 심리 말고도 다른 자세에서도 심리 걸 게 너무 많아서 그러니까 레이나 같은 경우에는 하면 할수록 더 앞으로 계속 좋아질 수 있을 거라고 생각을 한다고.
Okay. He thinks that like common thoughts of Reina is quite similar that when players they get higher level of Reina, she has really big potential, and there's no Reina players for tournaments except him. Even like these days, he doesn't play Reina for tournaments. So that after tournaments, he practiced Reina personally, and he found even besides 442, she has lots of stances and lots of tools. So maybe when time goes, maybe lots of people think Reina's tier will be different.
I see. Phi, what do you make of Reina? What's the people in USA think about her? I know that I've seen some Reinas already in tournaments there, man. I know that character's been doing bits, but what's your opinion and the general sentiment on that character?
Yeah, when I think of Reina, I'm very much reminded of Julia. I think that the defensive play against Reina is very reminiscent of defending against Julia, which is let her do what she wants and then make the read on the low that would kill her, right? like you're not gonna win against forward 2. You're not gonna win against electric, right? Like even if you try and do some sidewalk left, like some ducking, which is like I think a good layer 1, she can always slightly change timing forward 2, right? So it always will come back to her favor. I obviously interact with a lot of beginners and intermediates, and the complaint that her lows are weak is essential. She is supposed to have weak lows because of how strong she dominates the neutral, and I think Julia was very similar. Julia had down 3, which was crazy, but aside from that low, Julia had to risk her life, right? Bow and arrow. It was the stance low, out of the jump forward was not very good, right? So she either risked her life to get something decent or was just tapping to get you to interact. Reina, I think, has the same thing, but a bit weaker, right? Because her throws are launch punishable. So if she tries to do her stance throws, it's not as strong. But in exchange, she gets an electric and hop kick and down forward 2, 1-1-2, right? She has so many ways to just be in control. And in a first to 2, like good luck. To 2, good luck, right? So I think again, when I think of the god characters, and I don't know if I would put her exactly as high as Feng and Dragon, but when I think of the god characters, it's who gets to drive most of the time. Who can you really not stop from being the driver? And Reina absolutely fits in the category.
Yeah.
She absolutely fits in the category of you will have to deal with her, adapt quickly, you know? So, yeah, I would absolutely put Reina very, very... And it's kind of the opposite of the Hwoarang issue we mentioned earlier, where once he gets going, it's scary. But you can try keep out, you can space, you have movement options. Against Reina, it's the opposite, where you really have nothing you can do but let her get in and then be correct. You know? I think that is the crux.
Yeah.
I think that as I agree with the idea that as people master her tools and stances and execution and find really consistent ways to play her, it'll only get scarier. And I'm personally concerned that because her win rate is so low, I think she will be a target for buffs, for just increased properties, frames, damage. That's scary to me. I think buffs in Tekken are generally really scary with how the game as people will only get better, right? As time goes on, people will get more optimal, people will get stronger, and I love seeing that growth. And I think buffs are really scary in that kind of game where people are always improving, making decisions even with low tier.
Yeah, because
Not that Reina's low tier, but
yeah,
if imagine it happening to it.
Yeah,
I'm concerned about Reina for.
Yeah, I think like in general we're all going to be improving constantly. So like we're going to get better, and in that way the character becomes better when the driver becomes better as well, right? So it's just one of those things. So last time we did this Heat Speak episode, we was Joey said that he doesn't really want to speak too much about characters, but we all are in agreement here that Dragonov needs to be have probably quite a lot, and maybe Azucena and other like Fang, but he also mentioned, Joey mentioned that there were some moves that he thought were just too strong as well. Is there like any moves for other characters that you guys think too? One thing he mentioned CBM. He mentioned Jin's down 2. He said Jin's down 2 is doing way too much. It shouldn't be as strong as it is. And I mentioned that you said it was reactable, but he still said, "Oh, it's it's high crushing, counter hit launcher. It does a ton of damage. It's got good tracking. Like, what do you think about that? And do you think there are some other moves with other characters that you think are just too strong, like right now in this game?"
Just personally, as a gym player, every time, I had some tournament experience of Tekken 8, and when I face really, really higher level pro players like Ulsan, Mario, Lohai, those players are really, really good at reaction.
Mm.
Every time, even I use down back 4, they block.
Okay.
So I always delete my mind of using like Jin's low attacks like down back 4, down 2, health sweep. Only I can use is down 4. So sometimes I when I stream I just say Jin is down 4 online. I just say that on stream.
Okay.
So just if you are like really, really aggressive, down 2 is a really good tool to make count hits, and it's a combo launcher. But if just players, if they are just really, really fluid player, like sometimes defensive, sometimes offensive, it's not that much tricky move. But just personally, what I think some moves really, really confusing and annoying is like power crush with hit engagers.
Mm.
Those are so much that, like, for example, Azucena and Victor, they have like power crush engagers. Those moves are even fast, like 15 and 16 frames.
Mm.
So even I know it, I cannot do anything because I should stop attacking by carrying those stuff. Even it's safe on block, like -9, not -10, and is. So I think maybe they changed those kind of moves because I think how developers make this game, their like thoughts on the game, how they changed the game comparing to Tekken 7 was they don't like spamming moves, but those characters, those moves are safe. So they every time, even I have like plus frames like around 3 or 4, they do power crush easily. So it's not a kind of aggressive way and like creative thinking of playing the game. Even I have a friend that my friend plays Victor, but every time when he gets attacked, every time he press power crush, I told him, "Oh, why not just not using power crush and just do some defense?" And he said, "Oh, I know, but this power crush is broken that makes games so easy." And that guy is
Okay.
like stuck on the brew ranks. That, of course, lots of players now, they get used to those kind of power crush, but still, even every time I met Ajuseno or Victor, those power crush are so annoying.
Yeah.
I hope maybe they get changed.
How would you change it? Would you just make it that it's block punishable? Like it's high, you can duck it, but would you make it -10? Would you just get rid of the power crush or the heat engage? What would you do with those moves?
Just
Like
personally,
Asuka.
Like Asuka.
like Asuka.
How? Like
How?
Asuka frame 50.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, she's saying it's like Asuka's. Like you got to change that. Like this 15 frame. You're talking about like Asuka, Victor, Reina, those quick Power Crush heat engagers, how would you change them?
He said it doesn't track any sidestep. Asuka.
Okay. Like Asuka. So you can make it so you can sidestep it.
And when it whips, it's a really big delay, so it's easy to be punished. And
Okay.
no sidestep track. Maybe the concept is already fixed that they cannot get rid of Parker's property. Because if they change it, the movie is totally different. So
yeah,
maybe they will not get rid of that property. But like Rangchu said, if they change it, it doesn't track sidestep anymore and much bigger whipped frame.
Yeah.
Maybe it's gonna be okay. Yeah.
So okay, change the tracking on those moves so that you can sidestep it. A lot of people are saying that maybe you should keep it so that it's just a heat engager, not a power crush, not have both. But it's all about counterplay. There needs to be some sort of easier counterplay to these moves because I think they're very strong. Jeondding, do you think that there are some moves with characters that are too strong right now? What about Power Crush, Heat Engager? You think that that's too strong, like Azucena, Asuka, Victor? Or what do you think of these moves?
뭐 우선은 나도 똑같이 이제 아주세나나 빅터 파워 크래쉬 이런 거나 그 드라곤오프 하체트 그거랑 그 샤오유 그 인게이저 키고 나서 이제 그 자세 잡고 하단 얘랑 리리 똑같은 그 히트 키고 딱 그 정도가 조금 너무 오버 스픽이지 않나? 그러니까 그렇게 생각해.
Okay. What he said was like Park Crushes of Victor Azucena and Dragon Ops down back 3+4 or and shall use on hit that stands low tax same as like Lily's on hit that sidestep hop and low tax he thinks it's too much.
So the feisty rabbit thing. Fee, do you agree with that? We've actually both played Lily a little bit. I played her for the first time this game. I think she's really strong. The feisty rabbit low being -12 in the heat, knocks down, gives you the voila for free. I feel like she's always putting you in a mix. And her 1-1, dude, it's crazy, man. -4 and back to. What do you think of Lily?
In general, if I had to generalize my take on overpowered moves or things I want changed, it's all of the like weakness cover-up moves, right? I love a Tekken where people are strong in some ways and weak in other ways. And the moves that like cover those up or like really, really like seal up and make a perfect character, I think are not just less fun to play against, but kind of just like water down the game in general and create a trend of communities of players asking like, well, why can't my character have this? Why can't this? I think of when in Tekken 7 they gave Bob the 15 frame hop kick, they gave Anna the 15 frame down 4-2. It was like these characters didn't have it for a reason, you know? Like the original design was, I think, really elegant and beautiful to not give these characters these common Tekken tools because they were so strong in other ways, right? So when I think of Tekken 8, I think of, Dragunov Hatchet was mentioned, Xiaoyu's mix, Lily's mix, Lily 1-1. All of like these moves are so built to turn a character that was okay into a character that was crazy. Not that Dragunov was okay, but Dragunov's biggest weakness to me in the past was that he's blowing me, he's hitting me a lot, he's moving a lot, he has a lot of control, but he's poking. Now he has a huge low that I can't ignore and lets him continue playing. That's pretty scary. I think of Brian like quarter circle back 1. It's like my counterplay to Brian used to be like, okay, I'm going to move right at range, left up close, and then we'll start playing timing game. Now, if I am not sharp on my right movement, or if he snipes me with his budget electric, I'm in the air. So it's like, it feels like they've tried to patch up the weaknesses of a character that were there intentionally before.
Yeah.
That's a bit difficult for me to enjoy, just because I thought it was so cool watching these godlike players in the world tackle those weaknesses in the past.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying I was doing it. I'm saying these other players are doing it. It was really, really cool. And for me, just even as a spectator, I really enjoy that kind of gameplay. And then with respect to the heat engage highs, I think the heat engage power crush high. I personally like the idea of Tekken 7's power crush, where if you jabbed it and then blocked, you could punish them still. But because power crushes that have absorbed a move become safe, it's so much harder, right?
Yeah.
So I think that that's one small change that could be easy, a quick small fix that I think wouldn't have big effects is if you could jab against the power crushes and still be able to duck them or still be able to block them, that would be cool. But the fact that you really are forced to stand there, because if you decide to duck and Azucena chose to down forward 2, well, that wasn't right. If Victor, for some reason, chose to down forward 2, that wasn't. So
Yeah.
I like the idea of making power crushes no longer safe once they absorb something, or allowing you to do like the jab duck thing that was very common in Tekken 7 against. I think that makes it a bit more interactive, a bit more the attacker has to be a bit more careful instead of just using it as their go-to move.
Yeah, I see. Rangchu, what do you think about that then? Power crush heat engages. You said that you want that you can sidestep it like Asuka, but is there other moves that you think right now are too strong in Tekken 8?
뭐 파워 크래쉬 히트 인게이저라는 시스템은 굉장히 뭐 특징이 있으니까 좋다고 생각을 하는데 일단 중단 파워 크래쉬는 저는 다 괜찮다고 생각하고 리나 같은 경우는 이제 파워 크래쉬가 좀 오버 스펙이긴 한데 이제 히트 스매시 대신에 이제 쓰는 기술이다 보니까 뭐 오버 스펙일 수도 있다고 생각을 하고 있기 때문에 별로 그렇게 크게 뭐라고 하진 않는데 상단이 너무 스펙이 좋다 보니까 그 상단 파워 클래시 플러스 히트 인게이저를 좀 스펙을 어떻게 조절을 해줬으면 좋겠는데 그게 좀 어렵네요 그게. 그러니까 뭐 데미지를 줄인다든지 아니면 뭐 딜케를 만든다든지 아니면 뭐 판정을 구리게 한다든지 뭐 리치를 구리게 한다든지 하면 뭐 어떻게든 조절을 하면 되는데 그 중에서 뭐를 바꿔야지 이제 베스트일까라고 생각하기가 좀 어려운 것 같습니다. 뭔가를
왜
좀
이제
하향을
사기
시켜야 된다고
기술,
생각하고 있습니다.
어떤 사기 기술이 또 있다면?
사기 기술은 여러분들이 생각하는 게 그게 다 사기 기술입니다. 여러분들 다 똑같아요. 사람들 생각하는 건.
Okay. What you said was hot crush hit engagers are okay. Like Nina, it's a bit overpowered, but she used that power crush hit dash instead of using hit smash, so it's okay. But he also agrees with those high power crush hit engagers without any punish. Those moves are too good, so he hope they change the property of power crush hit engagers, but he doesn't know how they should change it. Maybe still he's thinking about business anyway. Yeah.
He's a
And-
top businessman. Yeah.
yeah. About like overpowered moves. He said that it's all the same as other players. They think the overpowered moves. So he didn't leave any comments on his thoughts
Oh,
of
okay.
overpowered moves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many.
Yeah. All right, fair enough, man. I think that's kind of covered it, you know, when it comes to the balance at the moment. So thank you for that. But we'll just go on quickly. This is going to be a quick one. I know that it's quite late for you, Fee, so we don't want to keep you up too much longer, man. But the final topic, the future of competitive Tekken 8. Now, I know it's a bit of a ambiguous topic for you guys watching at home, but basically what I want here is just to get the thoughts of the people on where we're going to be, where we want to be in a year or in a couple of years' time. So I'll start with you, CBM. We've obviously traveled around the world together, you know, going to loads of different tournaments, and We've been there since the beginning, from season 1, Tekken 7. Actually pre-release as well. You came to London to the pre-release tournament too. So we've seen Tekken develop over the years. Right now, is Tekken 8 where you want it to be, balance-wise and everything? But if not, where do you want it to be in a year's time, or in a 2 years time, or whatever? Like, where do you want it to be so that the game will be really fun for you guys, and as pro players, for balance and everything?
As a professional player, I wasn't that much good at the beginning of Tekken 7.
Mhm.
Actually, I was just a kind of a Tekken big fanboy, and I was just passionate player, not a professional. But at the beginning of Tekken 8, I was already a professional player.
Mhm.
So I had really lots of big worries of playing Tekken 8, because even lots of my friends, they gave me advice that I had too much worried of playing Tekken 8, because it was like released a few months ago, and they said take time and don't get too much pressure.
Mm.
But for me, just personally, I couldn't. I was really hard. I had really hard days of overcome that kind of pressure, that people just, even they told me take time, but the sponsor and the team situation is different, that they don't wait for me. So
Right. Yeah,
I
yeah.
had a kind of big pressure of like defeating all the stuff, and maybe the problem was that I was at the last of Tekken 17. I was the second place of the last Tekken World Tour Finals.
Yeah.
So maybe I expected myself really high, but I left all the stuff pressure, and now it's okay. But I also had, I'm in the team and I have my teammates. We had a talk about that kind of stuff, and we said that the game is not ready for a tournament because lots of bugs and lots of broken stuff. But we still need to go tournaments, and maybe it's gonna be changed. Like Tekken 7, it wasn't ready at the beginning of Tekken 7. Maybe you guys haven't tried that Tekken 7 vanilla
Yeah.
with like 20 characters. Even they didn't have a Devil Jin and Jin at the beginning. And at that time, I thought it's a kind of this is not a game like Tekken 8, like people now say that. But of course, it's gonna be okay when they do lots of patches, updates, balance patches. But currently, I still have worries. But just like, if I need to talk about the future of competitive Tekken 8, like esports scene, it's gotta be much better. That like you said, esports World Cup and Tekken World Tour, and in Korea we have ATL, lots of tournaments still going. So maybe if the game is a bit better, and how they fix the game, and how they make all the players they come back, game will be okay.
Yeah.
I have no worries about it.
So what specifically do you want to see changes? You said that when one of the changes happen, then it's going to be good. But what changes do you actually want to see to get to where we want to be? Do you just want to see nerfs to characters, and that's it? Like, do you think we'll be in a good place after that? Because I think that we're in a good place now. Let me not confuse anyone. I think we're in a good place now. I think as a viewer, as a commentator, there's no stress on me. I can just watch you guys, and I get to watch and everything. I think that people really enjoy watching Tekken 8. But I do think that the 50-50 kind of aspect of certain situations is not so fun. I think that the having counterplay, having sort of options, like Rangchu mentioned, if you nerf the heat engager to be +6 or 7 from +17, as a commentator, I look at that and I say, oh, there's an option he could have gone for, rather than 50-50 time. It's more fun. So what do you think, CBM? And like, what do you want nerfed or changed to get to a good place as a pro player? Do you just want to see character nerfs?
Just let me talk about Tekken 8 before I explain
Mhm.
what I think about it. That lots of people say that Tekken 8 is really hard for newcomers. That they have like new systems like hit engagers, hit dash, that kind of stuff make much difficult uh, to play. But I disagree with that opinion because I saw lots of newcomers. They use only few moves like hit engagers and hit smash. It's easy, much easier. I feel like it's kind of a Street Fighter that uh, people used to use all the moves before, but all the characters they have their own uh, strong moves
Mhm.
like hit engagers. So uh, comparing to Tekken 7, all the players they use less moves, so it's okay now. But the problem is because of that issue, all some characters like Dragunov, they have really strong moves. Like imagine that you pick 5 strong moves of Lars and 5 strong moves of Dragunov. It's a bit different, right?
Mm.
Of course, I didn't say Lars is weak, but it's just kind of comparing. Yeah.
Comparing, yeah.
Anyway, but so these days lots of players they pick just strong characters like Dragunov because it's easier and efficient way. But if they make the balance well, I just want a variety of characters pick on the tournament.
Okay.
Like before in 2020 in Evo Japan, like 6 Leroys. I just don't want to watch that kind of situation. If it's full of 8, all the other characters in top 8, it's gonna be okay. Just 50s are okay. I just want a variety of characters.
I see. Okay. And before I move on to Jeondding, what do you think's going to be the top 8? What character's going to dominate in Evo Japan? You know, we're all going Evo Japan, right? I mean, what what do you think there's going to be in top 8 this time?
I hope Korean Jin dominate Evo Japan. I
Ah,
hope
okay.
Korean Jin. I hope yes.
You
I
know,
hope please.
maybe he's going to try and do what Ulsan did and Mikio and be the non Dragonov in top 8 probably. Well, let's see. Jeondding, I'll ask you. Um,
Yeah.
in 1 year time, in 2 years from now, future, what do you want to see in Tekken 8? Do you want us to get to a good place? Do you just want nerf to characters, or is there something else you want changed? Look, what do you want to see in Tekken 8 in the future?
우선은 저는 철권 8은 진짜 플레이하는 입장에서는 조금 힘들 수 있겠지만 정말 보는 입장에서는 게임을 정말 잘 만들어서 지금보다 더 잘 될 거라고 생각을 하고 그러니까 뭐 이때까지 우리가 나오면서 어떤 기술이 좋고 어떤 캐릭터들이 좋다 그리고 뭐 파워 크래시나 이런 것들만 우리가 여태까지 얘기했던 것들만 조금 기술 스펙만 조금 바꿔준다면은 지금보다 훨씬 더 밸런스가 좋고 선수들 입장에서도 좀 불합리함을 좀 더 덜 느끼지 않을까라고 생각을 해요.
As a pro player, playing Tekken 8 is really hard, but he knows that as a viewer, watching Tekken 8 is really interesting and big fun.
Mhm.
So after like a year or 2 year pass, when they patch some like unfair moves,
Mhm.
so it's gonna be much better even for pro players. They will not feel something unfair. So it's gonna be okay. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So he's hopeful there. Just nerf some big moves. That's some OP moves right now. Rangchu, do you agree with Jeondding and CBM? What is there anything else you want to see changed for Tekken 8 in the future, or just nerf some strong characters?
이제 밸런스가 다 어느 정도 맞춰진 다음에 이야기인가? 이거는?
그러니까 이제 이 대회가 이제 시간이 흐르면서 뭐 철권
어,
7도 이제 뭐 밸런스 패치라던가 그런 걸 하면서 좀 비교적 나중에는 좀 다양성이 괜찮아진 부분이 있는데 이 게임에 대해서도 뭐 그런 거를 기대하는 점이 있는지 뭐 이런 거를 했으면 좋겠다.
일단 기본적으로는 변수가 많은 게임이다 보니까 보는 사람 입장에서는 굉장히 재밌을 수도 있는데 이제 뭐 예를 들면은 뭐 아즈세나 공창각이라든지 막 보는 사람이 불쾌해질 만한 이제 뭐 기술들이라든지 아니면 플레이 흐름 같은 게 좀 없어지기만 한다면은 거의 완벽하게 이제 재밌는 게임이 되지 않을까라고 생각을 하고 있습니다.
음,
이제
와,
게임 일단 시스템상으로는 이제 보는 사람 입장에서 엄청 재밌는데 지금 너무 캐릭이 서로 너무 세다 보니까 그냥 서로 우당탕탕 하다가 그냥 한순간에 뭐 내용도 없이 게임이 끝나버리는 경우가 굉장히 많기도 하고 그다음에 너무 오버스픽 기술로만 운영을 하다가 이제 그냥 기술 몇 개로만 게임이 끝나버리는 상황이 발생이 되는데 그 경우에는 이제 시청자들 입장에서도 굉장히 불쾌해지니까 그런 부분들을 좀 고쳐주기만 한다면은 완벽한 게임이 될 것 같습니다. 이제
그러니까
e스포츠 부분에서도.
시청자들 입장에서도 기술 몇 개만 쓰는 그런 단순한 게임을 보는 것도 재미가 없기 때문에 그런 게 좀 바뀌었으면 좋겠다 같은
이제
거죠.
그것만 바뀌면
네.
이제 거의 완벽할 것 같다.
음.
e스포츠에
What
굉장히 많은
is
발전이 있을 것 같다.
what he said was Tekken 8 has lots of how to say it's nobody can expect to win the tournament because the game is really random and not a perfect. There's no perfect player who can win this game. So as a viewer, the game is really good to be watched. But the problem is, for example, like Ajusena's while running 3-2, that kind of pressure, it it makes even viewers they feel uncomfortable about the game.
Yeah.
So uh, if they make viewers feel fun, even they don't make anything uncomfortable to them, the game is really perfect. Uh, so if they change that kind of stuff, and some moves are too much overpowered, and it also makes the matches really simple with only few moves they use. It also keeps our viewers uncomfortable. And if they change it, it's gonna be really good for competitive scene
Yeah,
of Tekken 8.
as a pro player, you'll be more comfortable. The viewers will be more comfortable. That's a good answer. Fee, I'll end this with you then. Do you agree with what's been said? I'll let you know my opinion. I agree actually. I think that from getting all the opinions from the last episode, from the players, and from this episode, it really seems like that there isn't really an issue with the system outside of maybe tracking throws, but even that, is kind of like 50-50. Some people don't like it, some people like it. Power Crush heat engagers seem to be like the main thing that people just don't like, from the system. But other than that, people don't really have an issue with anything else. Heat burst may be a bit too strong. As CBM said, it allows the opponent to steal momentums just so quickly and too easily, right? But outside of that, in the future of Tekken 8 competitive, because this is honestly, it's a great game. It really is, and I think that the potential for this game, trust me, coming from Tag 2, the potential for this game on a casual level for esports and stuff, I think is huge, right? But what do you want to see different? Let's say if you go in the future, you have a time machine, you go 1 year in the future, 2 years, and what do you want to see in Tekken 8 at that point in order for you to feel like it's going to be optimal for esports?
If I could only pick one thing to say, it would be I think criticism is very important and like honest feedback is important, but I think less extreme negativity is going to be my number one priority. And I think this is the first time I've been so involved in the scene from the start of the game, from the build up of the game, and then through what people say the end of the honeymoon period. But I think that I'm immediately thought of Sajam's event that he threw within the first month when all these different streamers who barely played Tekken or never played Tekken before all came in and everybody left so happy. All the spectators were so happy. There was so much positivity and optimism about the game, even with the flaws on full display, right? Even with these king players on day 4 climbing up to ranks that a bunch of viewers felt like they could never. right? So like there was negativity, but the overall sentiment was so positive. And I think it starts at the top. And I loved what these guys had to say, where they're like, yes, there are problems with the game, but things are still fun. Like things are still, some are problematic, some things will adjust to. And I like that perspective. To reach that, I think that I agree, like nerfs to the problematic things. Again, I think if we shoot for the current mid tier as the standard, that to me is perfect. I think that I also agree that character variety is a great spectator thing. I would like that to arrive organically. I think that the approach so far has been buff the weak characters, and that's been mentioned too in the future potential patch notes, is after EVO Japan, we want to buff the characters that have not been able to show their Tekken 8 as much. And that gives me a lot of concern personally, because I think that the more you buff the characters, we saw this in Tekken 7, the more you see, I don't want to use the term bandwagoner negatively, but rather see people abandon the characters they were so good at before just because it was the new good thing, and it was just the smart thing to do as a competitor. I think the idea of nerfing the best characters so people can stick to their guns on their favorite characters and really shine on the character they spent years building up is how we get these amazing showcases. Like, how cool would it be in Tekken 8 if we revisit the matchups we saw in Tekken 5, because that experience still comes back between these godlike players. I think that would be really cool.
100%. I agree with you, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that system stability, I would like to see less system changes. So like Tekken 7 saw a lot of wall bounce, wall crush changes to properties and that. I think it'd be cool. I think it adds a nice little spice, but it's so hard to balance when you change every character at once, right? So I think that's hard. And then I think just to fit the not just top level, but medium competitive and then casual, I think a ranked system, some kind of point elo system after God of Destruction, kind of what Street Fighter has done with the Master Tier, where you are now competing among all of the sweatiest players, and you can continue to rank among each other. I think that would be really cool. And then I want to see more stages and more jukebox. Those are my last two bits.
Yeah, no, man, more stages would be sick. Yeah, awesome.
Like Tekken 4 has so many stages, everybody talks about it. Tekken 5, and with the new graphics and the new just how beautiful the game is, I would love to see reimaginings of the stages, revisiting of these stages.
Airport stage, bruv. Bring it back. Tekken 4 airport, bruv.
Stage.
Yeah.
I think that this and they've talked about how they want this game to live a long time, right? And I think that new stages, especially revisiting that nostalgia, will be so good. And the more, I really believe that the more that they're able to fund the development through these cosmetics, like I think, like, you know, that's obviously one of the big controversies, but I think that the more that they can fuel it through those stages, cosmetics and things like that, the more that competitive balance can take a back seat for the business side of things. And to me, that seems like a really happy balance where the developers can be paid and they can eat, and we can have great competitive Tekken that will live a long time and satisfy pro players and spectators. That's my really optimistic hope for the future of Tekken.
And I think that it's entirely possible, man. Thank you very much. That was a great answer, man. Final question, and it's the one that I'm very interested in hearing from you guys. Since I have these guys here, I need to ask CBM and Jeondding. I'll ask you guys about this. For Tekken 8, with, let's say that they're gonna nerf the top tier characters, and then the game is balanced. Do you think that this is a game that Korea is going to be able to dominate in for the next few years? A lot of people were a little bit scared because they saw, oh no, the heat system and this and that is so much aggression, but Korea is known to be like movement heavy, sidestep and defense and stuff, and people were scared in the beginning. Will Korea be able to dominate like before? Now that you've played the game for a while, do you have faith that the community in Korea is going to be able to dominate? Are there newer players? Because I know Ulsan was telling me before CBM that there's not a lot of newer players joining the Tekken scene now. Are there more players joining the Tekken scene in Korea now? Is it growing with Tekken 8? So what do you think about the future of Korean Tekken on the competitive scene for the players, like growing, but also your strength, CBM?
내가 먼저 말해?
내가 먼저 할게요. 저한테 질문 해주셔서. It's really hard to say that it's really hard to explain how Korean community is about now, but we still have lots of online tournaments, and uh, I cannot tell about like Korean Tekken community. Just I just want to say personally, I have a faith of being good at this game, and I have teammates, I have friends who are also really professional. So if we gather together, and we are now just these days we're having contents to be familiar with each other. So maybe when after Tekken World Tour begins, actually it has begun from yesterday.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a kind of an offline session more. Maybe we can be also really really high and top ranked. I hope. Yeah, I have kind of faith. Yeah,
Good.
we can make it. Yes.
Good. And Jeondding, do you agree as well? Like with this new aggressive Tekken, do you think that Korea can dominate like before?
우선은 철권 7이 뭐 한국이 잘한 것도 있지만 철권 7 같은 경우에는 그러니까 유럽이나 이런 쪽보다 우리가 더 게임을 빨리 시작해가지고 좀 잘한 것도 있고 지금 보면 솔직히 뭐 지금 유럽이나 미국이나 뭐 파키스탄이나 뭐 다른 나라들 보면은 솔직히 아직은 뭐 확실하게 우리가 다 이길 수 있다라고 말은 정확하게 할 수 없을 것 같아. 우선은 1년 정도는 지켜보고 다른 나라 선수, 그러니까 세계 대회나 이런 데서 플레이를 해보고 어느 정도 봐야 알 수 있을 것 같고 지금 그리고 이제 뭐 한국 선수들은 워낙 풀이 좀 넓고 강한 선수들이 많으니까 뭐 조금 시간이 지나면 예전처럼 한국이 또 충분히 대회를 다 쓸었을 때만큼 다 이길 수 있지 않을까라고 생각을 해.
Okay. First of all, he said that Koreans were really good at Tekken 7, and they dominated like around 2017 or 18. But he also thinks that Koreans had a big the advantage of Tekken 7 because we had arcade version for 2 years, so we had 2 years of time advantage than Europeans or Americans. So so for now, it's a global release, and he cannot predict. At least this year, we cannot predict the results against Pakistanis, Europeans, Americans. We cannot say we're gonna all defeat all of them. But at least after 1 year, we travel around and we know how they play, and we have after that we have a kind of big potential of winning the tournaments. That in Korea, all the good players we have, and we have lots of really good infrastructure of kind of tournaments.
Yeah.
We have a chance of winning foreign tournaments soon.
Nice.
He thinks, yes.
Yeah, optimistic. That's good. Rangchu, this is a very important question, I think, because in Tekken 7, I think Japan was very strong in 2017, 18, even 2019, they were good. But then slowly it became Pakistan, Korea. Japan kind of fell behind a little bit. Do you think with this game now more aggressive, that Japan can maybe become number one in Tekken 7 in the future, in 1 year time, 2 years in the future? You think Japan can become the best again, like in this game?
일단 저는 아직 한국인이긴 한데 일단 제가 이제 한국인인데도 불구하고 이제 일본 철권 씬에서 가장 오래 있었으니까 일단 제가 한마디 하면은 일단 2019년까지는 이제 일본이 많이 치고 올라오는 추세였는데 2020년부터 이제 문제가 나타난 게 이제 파키스탄은 매번 맨날 이제 오프라인에서 이제 맨날 연습이라든지 뭐 빡겜을 좀 자주 하고 있고 뭐 한국은 정규 리그가 있고 일본도 이제 좀 2019년까지는 상향세를 탔었는데 2020년부터 이제 리로이 때부터 하향세를 조금 타기 시작했었는데 그 이유가 리로이 때 이제 유저들한테 많이 영향을 끼친 게 이제 강 캐릭터를 무조건 해야 된다. 무조건 탑 티어 플레이 그 캐릭터를 무조건 해야 된다는 인식이 너무 강하게 박혀 있는 것도 있고 지금 일본의 정규 리그가 지금 없다 보니까 뭐 결국에는 온라인 위주로 온라인에서 이제 가끔 열리는 대회 위주밖에 없는데 정규 리그가 생기면은 일본도 이제 잠재력이 많은 친구들이 많기 때문에 치고 올라올 요소가 충분히 있다고 생각하기 때문에 그 부분에 대해서는 또 앞으로는 어떻게
음,
될지는 잘 모르겠는데 뭔가 변화가 좀 필요하기는 하다고 생각합니다.
이게 정규 리그가 생겼을 때는 그럴 가능성이 있다고 생각하지만 지금 당장은 없기 때문에 변화가 필요한 게 결론이다.
변화가 필요한 것도 있고 이제 2019년 뭐 리로이 파쿨람 때 이제 결국에 선수들이 강캐들로만 성적을 냈기 때문에 캐릭이 강해야지만 결과를 낼 수 있다라는 그 고정관념이 세게 박혀 있기 때문에 그 부분도 살짝 변화가 좀 필요하다고 생각을 해요. 다소 강한
여러
캐릭터여도 이제
음,
탑급 탑티어 캐릭터들을 이길 수 있는 가능성이 충분히 있는데 이제 문제점이 캐릭 성능을 먼저 문제점으로 짚다 보니까 거기서 이제 좀 문제가 생기는 것 같아요.
okay. Uh, he's still a Korean, of course,
Yeah.
as a Korean, but he has spent a long time in Japanese Tekken scene.
Mhm.
He said that maybe around from 2017 to 2019, Japanese players were really good, but after COVID situation, after 2020, Pakistanis, it's it's really famous that they always do offline sessions, even they have like first to 10 or first to 5 really tough matches. And Korea, we had leagues like ATL,
Mhm.
but uh, after Leroy's how to say that Leroy's situation,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
but Japan didn't have any regular leagues or offline sessions.
Mhm.
Um, it also Leroy situation affects lots of players that lots of professional players they stick to the thoughts that they had to play really toppest character. That perception is really strong for them,
Ah.
and they don't have any regular league, so they only just do online matches, and they rarely they have online tournaments,
Mm.
so they don't have any. I think he said that they don't have any big motivation of playing Tekken now.
Ah, sad.
But if they get some changes like they have regular leagues or that kind of stuff change, maybe they also have a potential of overcome this kind of situation.
Mm. Well, I hope they get that, man, because we would love to see these guys, getting back up there. So yeah, great answer. Thank you so much, man. It's good to have that insight from Japan, even though we know Rangchu is obviously Korean, but he's living in Japan. So getting getting that insight is good, man. So Phi, I want to ask you as well, as a member of the community of the weakest region on the planet. No, I'm kidding. What do you think of obviously I've been watching a lot of Americans play Tekken, and there's players that have kind of crept up that you wouldn't see before. We saw King Ray Jr. for example. He's out of nowhere, man, just killing people. He's doing sick, and I'm sure there's other players as well, more than I know, because you're on the scene. Like, what do you think of like the future of competitive for USA? In the global scene now.
When I think of the US scene, especially when I jumped in 2019, um, we had all of the big names: Jimmy J,
Mm.
Speed Cakes, Glaciating, and then COVID hit, right? and I think of it as like it feels like we have a bit of a lost generation, right? A lot of that, the era of our strongest players, they all either retired or stopped competing when we went fully online, right? So there's this generation of players who came up during COVID, doing all the weekly onlines, the ICFCs, the Bud Light tournaments, the Chicago tournaments, things like that. Grinding, and coming up almost with very little direct, with not as much of a direct hand from the previous generation.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that gives me a lot of hope in the sense that like we got the Joe Crushes and the Ties coming up. Tons of other players too. I'm not trying to leave people out, right? But like a bunch of people coming up outside of the traditional pipeline of local with strong player pushing people into the international. Like we're in new territory.
Mm-hmm.
And likewise, because we came up online, the limiting factor was how good the netcode was, right? I can't practice with Joey Fury reliably just because of the distance and the netcode and things. I can't practice with Ty. Joe Crushes in Texas. You know how we feel about Texas. But in the same way, like it's Tekken 8's netcode feels so much better. And we have all of these tournaments right off the bat. Tampa Never Sleeps, Level Up Your Games doing the weeklies now too. Tons of weeklies coming up. I'm really optimistic with if we could do it without the previous gen. Now we have the new gen players with Tekken 7 experience, and we have that grinder of weekly. Like again, the King Rays, the Jasandis, all these people every single week in and out, always competing. That's really exciting to me. The more the best players are willing to play online because the infrastructure supports it, the more we will have that. We talked about when we talked about how good Pakistan is because it's like they're like super bugs, right? All the best players together all the time grinding. That's the ideal situation for creating the best players. The US has the problem of distance, but the better the netcode is, the better. I'm hopeful for that. I also am excited to see that players even the best players are still engaged in Tekken 8. There's less of that Tekken 7, we're done with it. It's kind of exhausting, online, tiring. It's like, no, like they're coming back for Tekken. They're getting really involved. They're, beating people up on the ladder. People are getting fired up. I love that. So I'm very hopeful for NA because of those factors. I think that the more exposure the new kids get to the old heads, the closer we get to showing more international, So I'm really hopeful. I'm really excited that DreamHack Dallas, for example, is bringing a lot of these international players, especially following Combo Breaker. The more we get to fight the best, the more there's more mingling, there's more people are grinding, the better it only gets, right? I think the worst thing that can happen is people get bored or stagnate and stop playing it. And I think that's where COVID got really scary. So that's why I'm so excited for now. It feels like the opposite. Even with this little downswing of attention and negativity, I think that there's still this fire that's really exciting. And that internationally is my favorite.
Sick, man.
People
That's
getting
good.
mad. I want to win.
That's the perfect way to end it, man. Thank you so much. And it really seems like from everyone's answers here today on everything that, there has been a lot of negativity, even, since the last episode of Heatspeak, there's been a lot of negativity that we've been seeing, of course, along with some positivity as well. But hearing from CBM, Rangchu, Jeondding, yourself, like, it seems like, this final question was good because the future, everyone's optimistic. Everyone's like, yeah, with nerfs to some of these top tier characters, bringing everyone down to that middle tier, I think, it's going to be fun for pro players and for spectators. And, no one really has too much of an issue with the system at the moment, which would have been actually a really bad thing if there was a lot of people who haven't, because system changes are a lot harder to do than character balance changes, right? So, yeah, definitely, I agree with everything that's been said. That's why I didn't really speak much this episode, because I really feel like if they just change the characters to be some of the top tier ones, to nerf them a little bit, maybe a couple of tweaks to the system as well with the power crush heat engages and stuff, maybe throws, then we're going to be in a really good position, man. And I think that I'm very hopeful as well. Been a part of the competitive scene for Tekken for such a long time, helping it to grow in any way it can and get more global too. The Tekken World Tour has started now, and there are going to be master events that we haven't seen before in certain regions like the Ivory Coast and challenger events in Madagascar as well. So it's really, really important, that we can have a lot of potential with Tekken 8, man. So yeah, really good stuff. thank you, Jeondding, CBM, PhiDX, Rangchu. Is there anything else you want to add before we close it off?
Oh, let me say one thing.
Yeah, go on.
I hope in Tekken 8 there is no British stage, and with Specs Wish, I hope they add Heathrow or Gatwick Airport.
Yeah,
for the
remake.
stage.
Yeah, add Heathrow Airport, man. My ends, bro. West London, bruv. Yo, add Heathrow Airport into the game. That is sick. I think that's the best way to end it. Jeondding, Rangchu, PhiDX, CBM, thank you so much. And I guess I'll see you guys. I'll see most of you guys at EVO Japan, and I'm hoping, Phi, I'm gonna see you at some tournaments as well, man. I know you're killing it with the content, but I want to see that Lily, bruv. I want to see that Lily offline in some majors, man.
That's the
Yeah,
hope.
see there. Yeah.
Yeah, man. All right.
See you there.
GG's. Take care, guys. Take care, everyone. And this will be on YouTube later. But peace. Take care.
Peace.
GG.
GG's.